Hello everyone, welcome on my YouTube channel. So in this video, I am discussing about an ASP session object. Okay. First we are going to see what is session. Okay. So this application is based on what? If you want to find the synonyms or the nearest meaning or the type of, so you can directly typing over here and you can find it. Okay, so what I am doing over here, I am opening this application, I am doing something in that and I am closing it. Okay, this is called like a session. Whenever we are talking about an ASP session, then whenever you are interact with any website, okay, the web server that not knows who you are, what you do over there, because HTTP address that doesn't maintain the states. Okay, so the ASP solve this problem by creating what? A unique cookie for each user, and this cookie is sent to the user computers and it contains the information that identifies the user. Okay, and this interface is called session object. Okay, whenever you are interacting with a particular application, okay, and your web server that doesn't know that who are you, what are you doing over there, okay, then so the ASP solve this problem by creating a unique cookies for each user. Okay, if I am logging on particular application, then web server can create one cookie for myself. Okay, if you are logging over there, then another cookie is created for your session. So the cookie is sent to the user computer and it contains the information that identifies what? Yes, I am that user, my information. Okay, that identifies the user information, and this interface is called what? Session object. Okay, so now what is session object? A session object is that it stores the information needed for a particular user's session on the web server. It stores the information for a particular user session on the web server. Okay, it automatically created every time when an ASP page from the website or web application is requested by a user who does not already have a session. Okay, it automatically creates and it remains available until the session expires. The session object is a user specific, or it can be used to store the variable specific to the particular user, and the IIS will maintain their variable when the client move across the page within your website. Okay, it is a user specific. ASP session object is what? It is a user specific object, or whenever you are login or doing something on the web server in the ASP page or like on the web server, okay, so what it doing? It can be used to store the variable. Okay, session variable is automatically created, and IIS that maintains your variable when the client moves across the page within your website. Okay, that creates one variable and it's remain until you can log out or you can move out. Okay, so what is the session object? Firstly we are writing that session object stores the information needed for a particular user session on the web server. Okay, it is and user specific. Second point. Okay, and it can be used to store variable specific to user. And IIS that maintain this variable when client moves across page within your website. Okay, this is the second point. So what is session variable? Now we are discussing about the session variable. What is it? Okay. The variable that stored in the session object that holds the information about one single user and are available to all the page in your application. Okay. The all common information that are stored in the session variables are their name, their ID, and their preference, and many more. Okay. So first point is what in the server variable? Which information are stored in the server variable? The variable stored in a server, the variable stored in a session object that holds information about one single user and are available to all the page in one application. And the second point is that it stores the common information like name, okay, then ID or preference. Then the server creates a new session object for each user, okay, and destroy the session object when the session is expired. Okay. Third point is that the server creates new session object for each user and destroy the session object when the session is expired. Okay, we are discussing about when does a session start. Okay, a session starts when a new user that are request an ASP file. Okay, it includes what? Session on start procedure, then the value that are stored in the session variable, and then when a user requests an ASP file, the global.asp file uses the object tag to initiate the object with the session scope. Okay, the first point is what? When you are starting your session, so a new user that requests an ASP file and the global.asp file includes session on start procedure. Okay, then it start the procedure. After that, it creates a variable and the value stored in a session variable. Okay, and the last, when the user requests an ASP file, the global.asp file uses the object tag to initiate that object with a session scope. Okay, this is how the session start. Okay, this is about what? The start procedure of the session. Okay, so now we are discussing about when the session ends. We are seeing about the start procedure. So now when your session is ends, if a user have not requested or not refreshed a page in an application for a specified period, then your session should be ended. Okay, when a user has not requested or refreshed a page in an application for a specified period. Okay, so for that the timeout property is used. Which property is used? the timeout property. So one thing is remaining, that in a session variable, how to create, or what is the syntax to create a session variable, that is session, in bracket you have to mention the variable name is equal to value. Okay, this is the syntax of session variable. So now we are discussing about timeout property. What is the timeout property? The timeout property that sets or returns the timeout period for the session object for particular application in minutes. So you have to set the time out property for a particular time. After that, your page is going to be expired. Okay, the timeout property sets or return the timeout period for session object for application in minutes. Okay, so you have to mention the particular minute. After that, your page is going to be expired. Okay, and one most point that I've explained in a session, and when the session ends, in that when a user has not requested or it not refreshed a page within the time, in the timeout property is not give the time particular, sorry, in that you, if the user, okay, I have discussed one point in the session end, that when a user has not request or refreshed a page within the timeout period that you are mentioning in the timeout property, okay, then your session is going to be end. Okay, so what is the syntax? Session dot timeout. Here you have to mention the time in minutes. Okay, by default, if you are not setting this property, then by default it sets 20 minutes. So now we are discussing about the code page property. Okay, so what is the code page property? It sets the character that will be used when the displaying the dynamic content. Okay. This property is set to displaying the character that will be used in your web page. Okay, this property is used to display the, sorry, this property is used to set character set or character that will be used when displaying the dynamic content. Okay, so what is the syntax? The syntax is that server dot code page is equal to, in bracket you have to mention the particularly code page number. Okay, so now next property is LCD property. Okay, this property, it sets or returns an integer that specified what, a location or a regions. The content like a date, time and currency that will be displayed according to the location. Then this property is used. If you want to display the date, time and currency for that particular region or a location, then this property is used. Else it property set or it return an integer that specify a location or region. Content like date, time and currency for that particular region will be displayed according to the location. Okay. So what is the syntax? The syntax is server dot LCD, property name, in bracket you have to write LCD, that is the local identifier. A local identifier. Okay. So one last property is the session ID. This property is returns you particular session ID, okay, for each user that the created. Okay, when you are creating the session object, the particular ID that is created, this property is return you the particular your session ID. This property is return a unique ID to each user. Okay, and it is generated by the server. It is generated. Sorry, it is generated by the server. Okay. So what is the syntax is? The syntax is that the server dot session ID, property name, that you have to mention the session ID. Okay, this is the syntax of this. So now we are discussing about the session events. There are two types of event. The session ID, that is session start, session on start event. Okay, sorry, session on start event. Okay, the session on start events that occurs, the server created a session. Okay, this events occurs when your session is created and this file is placed in the global.asf file. When the server create a session, okay, and this file, sorry, and it placed in the global.asf file. Okay, and then second one is session on end event. So these events occurs when the session end, when your session is end, and this event is occur, and it also placed in the global.asf file. Okay, this is the two events that are used in the session object. Now we are discussing about the session methods. Okay, first is abandon method. Okay, what it is? This method is used to destroy your session. Okay, it destroys a user session. Okay, one note is that when this method is used, the current session object is not deleted. Okay, your current session object is not deleted until all of the script of the current page that have been processed. So the syntax is what? Session and the method name, that is abandon. Okay, the syntax is that session dot abandon. Okay, and if you are not calling this method, or if you are not using this method in your session, in your application, then your web server will maintain all the session information until your timeout session, that a timeout property that you are setting over there, until that particularly time this session is end. Okay, if you are not mentioning this method, then now the another method, that is, okay, so we are writing, okay, we are writing this, what is abandon method. Okay, the second point is, if this method is not called, then the web server will maintain all session information until your session time out. Okay. So the next method is that content dot remove. Okay, this method removes the specified item from the session object from a content collection. Okay, this method is remove specified items that you want to remove. Okay, that you have to specify using this method. Specified item from the session object. Okay, from content collection. This is one type of collection that is also used in the session object. Okay, the syntax is that session method, object name dot content dot remove. In that you have to mention the name of your content and the index, that particular index that you want to delete it. Okay, or you have to remove it. And the another method, that is the content dot remove all. This method removes all the content from the session object. This method removes all items from a session object from content collection. Okay. The syntax is that session dot content dot remove all. Okay, this is the method. Sorry, here the same, you have to mention name and index. Okay, so this is the end of the session object. I hope you all like my video. If you like my video, then share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you.